In this video, we're gonna work on setting up a template from within Microsoft Word. Welcome to the Accessibility Guide channel. My name is Sean Jordison, and let's jump into the ring. All right, first things first, let's open up a new Microsoft Word document. Now, I am trying to build like an accessible agenda template, and so we're gonna use that as the basis of this video. So I'm going to begin with a couple of different things. And what I like to do is I like to bracket any of the templatable items. So we're just gonna practice this a little bit. First things first, we're gonna do agency name. And I'm also going to do all caps. And then we have notice of, and we have meeting type. And then let's do station number. And we could also have enter address, and we'll do street, town, state, zip. And that's kind of like directional material that I'm giving in there too. All right, next up we've got phone number. We want to enter phone. We've got fax number. We're going to say enter fax. And then we have notice of regular board meeting. And then I have some dummy text that I'm going to place in here. I like to do all caps, meeting, location, and address for the fillable parts, or at least, for the templated parts. And then I've got some other information here that I'm going to copy and paste in from a different document, but I'm just gonna do plain text and we're gonna format it. So we've got Zoom access information, enter meeting ID, and then we're also going to have enter passcode, and we will delete what is currently there. And then we have a date. We will say enter date, an example, cut that, paste it there, and then finish off with the brackets and the close parentheses. So I'm trying to give some examples here while I am also putting in the brackets. Again, this is to help me understand, what areas are actually going to be templated. And part of that is entering in a proper heading structure. So we have a whole bunch of list items in here, but they're not actual list items. So I'm going to delete them all, and then we're going to reformat, because really this is meant to be a template that we can take over to Microsoft Word, to Adobe PDF. And so let's get this cleaned up. So now we have the information we want, and we're going to set these up as bullets. This is going to be a bullet. And then we have actually a couple of sub bullets in this section. And we're going to indent both of these one level, but we don't want that open face bullet. So I'm going to change that open face bullet to a closed bullet. Additionally, we can put in more template information here, like enter date and meeting type, something like that. And then let's see, we have these other areas that we can bullet. Let's take them out one level. And I actually want the first level bullet, we're gonna try to bold it. And so we're gonna bold all of these first level bullets. And then we've got updates. Let's indent this. Then we have new business. Let's bullet it and take it back one level, and let's bold it. And then we have these two are going to be samples as well. Let's bullet them and indent them one layer in. And then we have our next meeting information, and let's make that a bullet. We will bold it, and then let's make this a nested bullet. So I need to first apply the list level, and then we're going to indent it, and again we're going to change it to a full bullet. So we now have somewhat of a template here in Microsoft Word. And now what we're going to do is I want to set up a little bit of format. And this is going to be our heading level 1, the agency name. Actually, we're going to do notice of meeting type as our heading level 1. So let's go ahead and make it bold. I'm going to make everything Calibre. And this notice of meeting type, we're just going to right click the heading level 1 and select update heading 1 to match selection. Then I can press Control F and open up my heading section over on the far left. And that's perfect. I don't know why it's highlighting it. Oh, because I have it searched. All right, next up is our agency name. Now this one is probably gonna be more the title attribute. So let's go ahead and set some settings on it. We're going to make it size 14, and we can center it, and let's also make it bold, and let's update the title to match it. So we've got our heading level 1 set to 12 points. We've got station number over here and enter address. We've got phone, fax, and then let's go ahead and make this heading a heading level 2. So we're going to drop the font size down 1 to 11, and let's right click heading level 2 and update it to match selection. We're going to do the same thing for zoom access. We're gonna make it a heading level 2, and then we're actually gonna make our date a heading level 2 also, the enter date. And let's see, we wanna make the rest of our font size a little bit smaller than the others. So we're gonna make it 10 points. And then next meeting will be a heading level 2. So we can just pick from what we have. And then we could also update normal to match selection, which will change the rest of our content. So our Calibre got changed. Let's make that heading level font size 12. Everything else is 10. Our heading level 2 is set to 11. And now we have a pretty good Microsoft Word form that is set up with accessibility in mind. So the thought is at this point, the bracketed information could be changed out. Now, whenever I come in here and adjust any of these elements, I could simply export it out to Adobe Acrobat, and it will retain most of the settings that we've placed inside of this document. Let's do just a couple more things. I'm going to select the File button and then select Info, and let's select Properties, Advanced Properties, and let's give this a title. I'm going to say Sample Agenda Template, and the subject will be template, and then let's select OK. All right, this is technically the end of the video, but I wanted to explore a little bit further in what I could do with some controls from within Microsoft Word. So feel free to click away to one of my other videos, or let's stay in this and check out what I can find out in using the built-in Microsoft developer tools. Let's go to developer, and I'm going to practice entering this as a form field. So let's enter this as a rich text content control. Let's right click it. Actually, let's select properties, content control properties, test. Or what if we do station number? Tag, I'm not sure, shows a bounding box. Color, ooh yeah, let's make it a yellow highlight. Use a style to format text typed into the empty control. Okay, that's kind of cool. Remove content control when contents are edited. Okay, and then contents cannot be edited. I think that's okay. All right, so we've got station number in there. Let's go ahead and just try this enter fax, because I'm really curious what we can do for setting up like an actual template, which uses the Microsoft form fields. So this one's going to be rich text control or plain text control. We can do rich, that's fine. We've also got checkbox control. Let's do properties, and we're gonna say enter fax, and it says tag. I don't know what that means. Let's try just fax. I like to think the tag would be related to accessibility, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. What does it start? Show a start end tag. We'll leave it as bounding box and then change that yellow highlight. Remove content control when contents are edited, select OK. All right, we're just gonna start with this. And let's go ahead and save as our document. Select desktop, select save. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna select restrict editing. And what we're gonna do is limit formatting of selection types. Let's select that settings button. Interesting, so we can make it to where only certain styles can be edited. That's very interesting. We've also got, so we might be able to figure out if we set up a style, we might be able to only limit based on that information. We're gonna select cancel. Allow this type of editing. We only want filling in the forms. Select parts of the document and choose users who are allowed to freely edit them. Okay, and then let's go ahead and select yes, start enforcing, and we're gonna select okay because I don't wanna save it. And then let's do find next region I can edit. All right, apparently I cannot restrict it that way. Let's go ahead and undo the restriction. We'll stop protection, filling in forms. Okay, it won't let me choose that. Let's see if we can set the formatting on this. Let's see, is there anything in here about developer? No. Station? No. allow this type of editing in the document. Okay. Well, after clicking around a few times, it let me just choose the form field. So let's see what we can do. And I'm not going to set a password. Oh, that's funny. So as soon as it like let me fill in the forms, it's because I set specific options on those form fields. So let's go ahead and deselect that restrict editing. I need to come back in here and actually go back into design mode. Oh, because it actually moves it all the way. So we would have to re-add those fields in. That's very interesting. We'll do rich content. I don't want design mode. And then select properties. And again, we have to set this again. So station number, tag station number. I kind of want to see what start end type is. And then let's do the yellow highlight. Content control cannot be deleted, and then select OK. Interesting that it is showing me the label there. That's probably the start end tag. Let's just do the bounding box. Yeah, okay. And then let's go ahead and do enter facts and see what trouble we can get into. I'm gonna select that whole thing. We'll do just plain text, properties, title will be facts, bounding box color is yellow, and content control cannot be deleted. Oh, we could do allow carriage returns. That's interesting. Let's try it out and select OK. All right, now let's save the file. Let's go ahead and do restrict editing. We want only filling in the forms and do yes, start enforcing protection. We don't want to have any actual protection on it. And let's close that out. And now it will only let us enter in our station number. So this will be, I don't know, 19487, whatever. And then let's try entering the fax. This is a fax number. Cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and save it. And let's see what happens when we take it over to Acrobat. I'm going to select Acrobat, create PDF. We need to save our file, save it out again. I'm very curious to see what these things do, or if they work or not in terms of our content. So it does appear that it worked decently. Wow, okay. Well, we were able to set up that Word form there, and this content is coming through appropriately when we convert it over to PDF. That's like a pretty big deal. Let's see what else we can get in trouble with here in Microsoft Word. All right, so I actually need to unedit. So developer, let's do the restrict editing, and we want to stop protection. And this will be interesting. I wonder what we can edit here. The client wants to be able to adjust these sections right here with the bullets. And so I'm trying to think of a creative way that we can do that. We might try, I don't know, let's try this drop down list. Let's choose properties, title, this will be test list. Bounding box, we'll do yellow. Use a style, default paragraph font. Do we have the ability to use a list? Style based on, that's okay, we'll just leave it like that. We can choose items. Oh, okay, so this is like for a real list. That's not gonna work. All right, so really the form fields can be fine, but because the user wants to be able to enter all this information, you know, it's gonna be tricky for us to really template this any further because we can't make it to where this content can expand. Now, if it was totally just like placeholder information, we could in theory do that. We could lock it down a little bit more and so on. If we look at making it a template, I don't know that it's gonna work the same way really. So this is about as far as we can take this document from a template standpoint. Now I'm actually going to remove these controls out of here because they are not going to work in the way that I need them to work. All right, so we need to get rid of station number, whoops, and re-enter it, station number, and then we want that enter address information there. Okay, and then the directions would be to like replace any areas that have brackets around it. That concludes today's video on setting up a Microsoft Word template that can be easily converted over to Adobe PDF while retaining much of the structure that we applied. If you want to check out my self-paced community, there's a link in the description of this video. And as always, I could be your champion for inclusion. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.